I used to think that if everything was going to be done right, that it meant I had to be on top of everything. I needed to be involved in everything. That if it didn't go through me, it wouldn't meet the standards and quality that I wanted it to. Company wouldn't grow, things wouldn't go the way that they were supposed to. When I took on the role of CXO at on the spot detailing, I spent every day there from sun up to sundown, just making sure that everything was exactly how I had planned it, that everything was executed perfectly, and that if I didn't put my hands on it and at least be there to make sure that it hit those standards, that everything would fall apart. I was wrong. When I say everything through me, I mean everything through me. I either created or implemented or monitored the marketing, the daily operations, the inventory, the pricing structures, the sales team. I went and was part of every department. I was trying to be everywhere. 50 hours a week was a starting point for me. If I didn't at least hit that, I wasn't doing my job. And I even went through the trouble of trying to create policies and procedures that I thought were helping me delegate some of those responsibilities. But really, all I was doing was just adding more work to my plate. Every policy I created, every new formula I came up with, or new format that I created, it always involved me. And it eventually led to just me not being really a part of anything because I was trying to be a part of everything. And looking back, I never even questioned if I was helping anything. Ultimately, everything coming through me, being decided by me, it created a bottleneck that it prevented people from even trying to come up with their own ideas, trying to be a part of a solution. And instead, they just got into a pattern of doing what they know they can do because I told them, and just kind of hiding the rest of it. Scared to even attempt to bring any ideas or concepts to me or say, hey, I'm not really sure that this is the best way we can do this. And these are the people who are doing this job on a daily basis. They were the ones out in the field. They were the ones on the phones. They were the ones who were in it, and I'm sitting here from this desk looking at everything, and the only time I stood up and tried to do anything was either to say, hey, that's not the policy I created, or that's not the process, or you're doing this wrong. This is not how this is supposed to be. But I didn't really know anything because I was only in it, a short amount of time each day. I started to lose a grasp on what really was going on in the company and what needed to be done. And when you spread yourself that thin, not only are you exhausting yourself as a resource, you're limiting what everyone else is capable of doing and letting them have the opportunity to shine. Ultimately, what ended up happening is nothing could stand on its own. If I wasn't there and wasn't there to give the go ahead or the yes or the approval, then nothing happened. Everything stopped. People were running time, sure, and they were, offering the services they were supposed to be offering, but there was nothing of value being created. Reviews slowed down, the customer retention it slowed down. People weren't coming back as frequently or at all in some cases. Some things that took years to rebuild in relationship wise, all because I felt like if I wasn't there, it wasn't going to work. If Adam didn't have his name and his stamp of approval on it, then it was not the way of the company. People waited around for my approval. People waited around to see if I was going to be okay with whatever was about to happen or what they were planning on doing. And like I said, I couldn't be everywhere all at once. So it really created a delay, not just in the growth, but in the daily operations. We ended up with things like inventory being late because I was out in the field and weren't there to approve the inventory list. Not only did the team get tired and did this exhaust the team, get them unmotivated to do their jobs or be the best versions of themselves, but it ultimately led to me burning out too. I was sitting at this desk one day, exhausted. It was a Thursday and 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I had been out doing cars, working on the finances, handling payroll. I was everywhere. And it became not only mentally exhausting, but it actually physically shut me down. I couldn't do anything. I hadn't used any PTO at the time. I hadn't taken a day off as long as I can remember. And I crashed. I ended up spending the next 3 days just in bed, just mentally and physically recovering. It was a realization point for me that not only it can't sustain like this, but it shouldn't sustain like this. That no growth, no expansion, nothing ever changes if everything has to go through one person or all things have to pass a single point of view checklist. It creates nothing that helps growth and does more than hinder it. It completely eliminates the concept of growth being part of any company that operates like that. What I've learned is that if you're in a leadership position, handling everything only creates dependency, not growth. It's not sustainable. It's not something that I think any one person should even try to attempt to do. If you want your company to grow, if you want your business to be something more than what it is today, you have to learn to delegate. You also have to learn what's important and what's not, where the value in you comes in that's most effective for your company. You may know how to do it all, but you can't do it all on your own. And you have to trust the people you have put in these positions to make the best decisions. It's ultimately why you gave them the role, right? So when we are looking at growth, when we're looking at how we structure our business for growth, how we structure our lives to grow, sometimes you have to let go. Sometimes you have to say, this isn't worth my time. This can be handled better by someone else. There's someone more qualified to make these decisions. Um, or you just can't be in two places at once. And that's okay. It's part of the growth process. I used to believe that you would have to accept the fact that if you found someone to replace you for a certain role, that you should expect about 80% of what you put into it to be there. And that's just not true. You find the right people, you trust in the right people, and you're actually going to get more productivity than what you were able to give to it because they're not spread thin the way you were. They're taking something off your plate and they're owning that specific responsibility. It's theirs now. Trust them to do the job so you can focus on the things that matter to you, the things that are important, and the time that you have is best served doing things that actually promote growth for your company.